Alright guys, we're gonna get started.
Do
Good morning all, and welcome to 1 Million Cups Westminster. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier for access through education, resources, connections for entrepreneurs. Yeah. This mission does not get accomplished without these core pillars. So we're looking for presentations, not pitches. Connection, not networking. Culture is for the community, by the community. Nobody has ownership of 1 Million Cups Westminster, and nobody should be paid to do 1 Million Cups Westminster. We're also radically, intentionally inclusive. So we meet every week, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. We have 2 presenters whenever possible. Today we have 1. Presenters' organizations should be less than 5 years old and willing to ask for help from the community. The ending question, which Tina usually asks, is what can our community do to help you? These are our organizing team.
And that's it. That's the last one.
And that's it. So let's welcome Laughing Coffin today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm grateful you're here.
Yeah, I don't dress up often, so hope you guys appreciate it. There's the mouse, or hit the. I'll let you do someone speaking. So I'm not gonna lie, my wife put together this slideshow. I have not had much time to look over it. It's been pretty busy times, but we'll start it going. So, Laughing Coffin Esports Arena, we're located in Tonytown at 1 Broad Street, right behind the subway. This is our team. Rachel Miller, my wife. She's kind of the main owner of the business. I'm quote unquote the advisor of Laughing Coffin. Kyle Myers, he runs our financials. Brandon Chambers, he's a friend who invested in. William LaPointe here, he runs the day-to-day. Chris Dillman, another middle school friend who invested in. Jason Booten, who's a friend who invested. And all of us are middle school friends essentially that kind of just went on to this project because it was a passion of ours. I've been talking about it since we were in middle school, and Laughing Coffin started as an international guild of around 300 plus people in MMORPGs, play World of Warcraft, Arcade, stuff like that. That's kind of our background in gaming. We were highly competitive in player versus player kind of guilds, which is, again, just, it's not facing like NPC monsters or anything like that. It's actual player versus player combat. Throughout the years, we've made lifelong friends around the country, around the world, and we do a meetup just about once a year where we actually meet all these guys, and normally it's 10 to 20 people that kind of come out for these kind of things. While we started Laughing Coffin, I met my wife actually through video games back in 2014, and we got married in 2017. As we started growing our family, I realized there was a need for something for kids to do in Tonytown, especially kind of the teenage-ish bracket. Especially when it comes to like esports and kind of more modern activities. So again, the first thing I did was kind of reach out to my friends who knew I'd always had a dream of starting a LAN center per se.
Talked about it for years.
Again, probably like 8th grade, 9th grade. So yeah, forever ago. But again, I got them together and we all chipped in a bunch of money. We're not particularly wealthy or anything like that, but 6 middle class guys, and we got it done. So, next. So what is esports? Esports is basically competitive gaming. It's the world of people playing on Twitch. It's the world of people going to events that are attended by thousands of people. It's one of the most watched sports out there right now. If you're familiar, yeah, so we had, 397 million viewers in 2019. Super Bowl. Oh boy, I'm not good with 51. Yeah, 51 apparently had 111 million viewers, so. Good to go. Okay. So part of our mission is to basically bring esports to smaller communities. The bigger towns, they actually have a little bit more facilitation for it, but when it comes to smaller communities like Tonytown, which about 8,000 people. The schools do have their own leagues. Yeah, I know FSK has started some of their leagues there, and we have started our own leagues at Laughing Coffin Center that they placed 1st, 2nd, and 4th in their league. So we're doing good there. But again, our main thing is to bring high-end consoles, high-end computers to small towns. and they're really expensive for the cheap rates that we offer. So, next one, bud. So part of how we offer the $5 just a day to come in and play rate, and we used to do it for free, but our place was getting a little too trashed by the 30 to 40 kids who were coming there a day. How we do this though is we do it through grants, crypto mining, sponsorships, donations, e-commerce, retail sections, birthday parties, and we're actually expanding into mobile conventions, birthday parties, kind of stuff with a mobile trailer that we're setting up right now. Target audience is pretty much any age. We have people in their 30s, we have people in their 40s. Our 4-night tournaments, the parents, adults, they'll come out and play against the kids. And our theory on it is anybody is, you're old enough to get beat by a little kid, essentially. So, to be fair, most of those kids will beat just about any adult. So.
Yeah, that's true.
But a big focus is, teenagers and kind of the younger kids. A lot of what we do, especially the donations that we have, the esports teams being free and everything like that, kind of all goes back to the youth. So 6 months statistics. Oh boy, she put so much on here. Okay. So at 6 months, there was 409 registered users. We had about 3,500 hours played total through our systems, with 300 played by guests. Our top game was Fortnite, of course. And I know that continued over to our 12-month statistics. We've given about $3,080 into tournament prizing. Items sold in store. We sold 8,800 items in store. I think that also counts our. No, I guess that is just in store. Sorry.
Top sold vending soda.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, yes. Soda is. I'm not gonna lie. They're gonna look back at some of the statistics of Tiny Town. There's probably gonna be a link to some childhood abuse CD and laughing off of that. It's gonna be unfortunate because those kids, man, they pound money into that vending machine for soda. That is. We've been working on it though. We've added some more cleaner options and stuff. So, our online store, we've sold 2,430 items at the 6-month statistic. Most of that's through TCG Player and Pokemon's the most heavily things that we sell through there. Charity and donations, we have given away 319 packs of cards. One of the first packs of cards we actually gave away contained a Pokemon card that is worth about $600, and it went to a 3-year-old. So that was.
What was the card?
What was it?
It was an Umbreon VMAX Alternate Art.
Yeah, from Evolving Skies.
Yes.
It's the most expensive card from the set.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. She didn't understand what she got, but I went and told the parents and we put it into a little card thing and got it all sorted for them.
Cool.
So donations and raffles, we do a lot of donating through the town. We do a lot of donations to organizations, and we do a lot of raffles. And we've done at 6 months, we had done about $1,700 worth. We have given out at 6 months 652 hours of free gaming. On to the next. So 12 months, we're now up to 854 registered users, 722 of those being active users, which means the account's been used in the last 90 days. Total amount of tournament pricing that we've done so far is $4,700, and we're expecting that to go up in 2023 as we've already started some pretty big tournaments.
House Flipper in the top 10, huh?
Hmm?
House Flipper.
No, House Flipper is actually a very popular game. My wife actually loves the game. So. No, but top games: Fortnite, Valorant, BeamNG, Drive, which is just a driving game, Rust, Roblox, Brawlhalla, Gary's Mod, Fall Guys, House Flipper, and Minecraft. Actually, I'm very surprised Minecraft is so low on that list. That's what it said on the thing, though.
Interesting.
I'm not going to question it. So, online store at just TCG Player alone, we're up to 4,102 orders done for the 12-month span. We send out a lot of cards throughout the week, a lot of cards, and it came up to. That's not right. Yeah, she double covered that. We came out to about $40,000 just on TCG Player sales alone, which is just trading cards. Amazon orders, we had about 12,000. The in-store, actual at the register, came out to about 118,000 with the sales, with 5,000 total transactions. Best day of the week, Saturday, of course. Best month of the year, November, was actually our best month so far. And it's looking like January would probably top it, I'd say. Average daily sales came out to about $354, with our record day being February 25th, actually. And that actually carried pretty much the first 5 months of us being open, because we did not do many sales in the first 5 months. it really took the summer for people to kind of come in and realize that we were there in Town to really speed things up. Top selling category, even in stores, Pokemon. Kids love Pokemon. Everybody loves Pokemon.
Pokemon sells.
Pokemon sales. We had 481 retail customers that used different cards, and they had an average of 4 visits to the store throughout the year. Our top customer actually spent $7,400 at the store in 2022.
What Dakin was it?
No.
I have an idea of who it might be.
No, I have an idea of who this. But Jackson does come in and spend a decent amount
Yeah, I
of
know
time.
that does.
Vending machine sales. So when we went free to play, we saw a large spike in vending machine sales. That's kind of where we made back a lot of the money from the free to play was people were coming in and buying stuff at the vending machine. Now that we've kind of scaled it back to the $5, we don't see so much in vending machine sales, and we allow people to bring in outside drinks, beverage, foods, and stuff like that. So, but we did do $7,500 of vending machine sales, which basically paid our vending machine off in the first year. Before the crypto crash, we were mining quite a bit of crypto. We mined $24,000 worth of crypto assets that we had just sold in 2022, and we still do have some reserve that's just kind of sitting there waiting for maybe one day to bounce back up. Yeah, we'll see. But an estimated we had $203,000 gross revenue for 2022. I don't have net revenue just because I'm waiting. We have an intern coming from FSK that's going to be doing the books with me, and I kind of want to show them how to do that before we get all that together. Charity and donations, we've done about $6,400 in raffles, donations, and just giving back to people throughout the community this year. New additions to the recreation part of the center, we've added basketball game, electric dartboard, skateboard retail section, air hockey table, arcade gaming machines. I'm not gonna lie, but the basketball game, we got the first one in probably a week.
It was the same day, actually.
I guess it was the same day that it broke. So we just got it in, broke same day, and we do have another one. It's
So
still,
we have a new one.
it's still in your box though. We're not sure when we're gonna bring that back up because it went quick. Yeah, community outreach. So one of our biggest things is community outreach. Our business is a community-focused business. Everything we do is kind of about community. We're working with Carroll County Workforce Development Program, where we had a summer worker from there, and then we had 2 of the 6-month program workers so far, Bailey and Damien. And then Victor did the summer. He did a really good job during the summer. I had an opportunity to speak to business classes at FSK, and that's where I've been spending time over there meeting kids who are interested in business and stuff like that, and that's kind of where our interns are coming from. And again, just trying to give back as much as we can there. The center has been used by the city of Town to host events such as the skateboard revitalization input meeting, which unfortunately was a little weirdly scheduled with homecoming at the same time. So that was an interesting one. Our esports teams, they did really good. My wife kind of took the lead on that. They did first, second, fourth, and Fortnite for a national league, and then Valorant team, while they didn't do as well, they really come far as a team, and they're looking to go as a team into the next season. So we're looking forward to that. We worked with Magic to facilitate some of the gaming during Good Game Fest, and we also donated $1,000 to the prize pool for the Pokemon tournament, which I think had almost 50. Was it 50 people that showed?
52, 54?
Maybe something like that. Just 50. It was in the area of 50 for just the Pokemon tournament alone, and then we did some Fortnite tournaments, and we let people game on them during Good Game Fest. It came out really well. I think we gave $400 to the police car for their drive in Tawnytown. Competitive play. So we host a bunch of different esports tournaments throughout the year. Most of it is Fortnite. We're probably going to be expanding to Call of Duty here soon. But so far, more people have been interested in Fortnite than anything else. It's kind of a game that is inclusive to most people from just about all age brackets. I think we do have a decent amount of parents that come out and play the game as well. So, we host a lot of TCG player events from Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and Yu-Gi-Oh! We've hosted 2 1K prize pool tournaments. We're actually gearing up for a 2.5K prize pool Pokemon tournament in February that we're expecting almost 100 people to come out for. We've also had pros from the Pokemon scene come out from Baltimore, flying from Vegas, just to attend these events. Esports leagues. Yeah, I touched on this quite a bit now. So most places charge anywhere from, it could be $150 to $200 to $300 a month just to be on an esports league. We offer it for free currently at Laughing Coffin, mostly through business donations, and we cover about half the upfront cost of it all. We had 3 4-night teams, each consisting of 2 players, and 1 Valorant team consisting of 5 players this year. We're expecting to double, if not triple, those teams for 2023. 4-night teams secured 1st, 2nd, and 4th in their national league, while Valorant team was unable to secure any top 3, but they have improved vastly from where they started. A lot of it was about kind of building that teamwork, especially on a 5-man team. None of them knew each other, and now they game outside of the center with each other. And one of the big things that we see is that not everybody can afford a high-end gaming computer to play a lot of these games. So the kids who don't have computers at home, especially on the esports teams, they're allowed free access to the facility during the leagues and stuff like that to come in and actually play the games there to play their leagues.
Some of them don't even have the internet.
Yeah, some don't even have internet. It's actually a big thing. A lot of the people that we see that come in kind of live on the outskirts of tiny town where the internet really isn't stable there. They're using phone hotspots and stuff like that. And we even allow people to come in and just download stuff. Like if they need game updates and stuff like that on their Xboxes, PlayStations, they'll come in and download it. Future goals. So 2023, we've been talking about indie game development as a potential to expand into. A lot of the people who are invested in Laughing Coffin, friend-wise, and everything like that, hold computer, IT kind of backgrounds, and it's something that we've already kind of started gathering the software and assets for it, so we're expected to start in 2023, time permitting. We're about 30% of the inventory that we want to be, and we're expanding that every month. Most of me and Kyle Beemeyer, actually, we both put in money every month to kind of expand our inventory. So we want to see it expand about from 2 times from where it is right now, and most of that is just kind of filling out some of the more broader niches in the trading card sector and stuff like that. And also kind of get into computer parts is the idea. We've expanded to a number of collaborations in Carroll County. We work closely with Save Point and Union Bridge, where we help finance a $40,000 trailer so they could reduce their dependency on rentals for their conventions and stuff that they go to. We've consulted with Save Point for Laughing Coffin to expand into that convention birthday event sector, where we acquired our own trailer in December that is being retrofitted to actually attend these things. We've already acquired 10 240 hertz monitors, 10 Xbox Series S's, and we're now working on the computers to really fill this thing out. And we bought it locally at Hitchman in Tawny Town. It cost $12,000, so it's not as fancy as the $40,000 trailer, but it's a good start. So the owners of Laughing Coffin, none of us really make an owner's withdrawal, except for Layden, as he actually works there for the day-to-day. Everything that we get, we pretty much put back in the business currently, and for us, it's all about expansion and just offering more. In the trading card sector, we have expanded to trading card slabbing. If anybody's familiar with it, it's like PSA grading and stuff like that. We bought a professional hypersonic welder, plastic welder, that's actually slabs the cards for us and stuff like that. And that's been an interesting endeavor. So the difficulties we face, one of the biggest difficulties is during the summer, if anybody's familiar, the rates of electricity skyrocketed. It went up to 16 cents a kilowatt is about what we were paying at one point, which equated to us paying $2,500 a month just for the electricity in our building. We already pay, $3,700 just for the rent, mix that in with the $2,500 for electric, on top of all the other stuff, and it came out to a lot of money that we were spending monthly. And we've kind of overcome that now. When we first started, we didn't have much in our day-to-day account just for working capital budget or balance or anything like that. So now, luckily, we have a couple of pretty high-line credit cards, and those have been doing us well. Kyle isn't too pleased with them, but we'll see. One of the issues we're currently facing is that we honestly have too much building. We're kind of looking to downsize into probably a 2,500 square foot building. We don't know what to do with all the space. So if anybody knows any spaces like that that could facilitate something like that, again, we're looking to downsize where they could handle our esports team, indie game development, and retail store. We're also looking at separating the recreation aspect into a whole totally separate project, or we're looking into acquiring funding to actually do a recreation type center. And we are one of the few businesses in Carroll County lucky enough to be selected for the Project Restore Grant 22, which injected $30,000 into our business over the course of a year and allowed us to do some pretty rapid expansion into inventory and aesthetics. Conclusion, Life of Coffin is a passion project, which, again, he can tell you, I've been talking about it since I was a kid, and everybody's gone on it. We're all lifelong friends, pretty much. We understand the need for esports in small towns, and again, a lot of kids, or some kids, I should say, they don't play baseball, they don't play football. Game is kind of what they do, and being able to associate that as a sport for them is important to us. We're not looking to become rich by this project. It is a passion project to us. I'm not gonna lie, we probably should have done a nonprofit to start out with, because the goal isn't to make money per se. It's to just kind of facilitate esports. Where do we see ourselves in 5 years? Hopefully owning our own building at some point. A trailer that's traveling the country, teams that are competing in multiple leagues, and a fully expanded inventory. We also eventually want to create our own regional league. What can the community do to help us? Continue spreading the word about what we're trying to do, and if you know someone who's interested in gaming, have them check us out. I think that's it. Oh, sorry.
Questions?
Questions.
Go for it, Chris.
So I have two. One, as a lifelong 40-plus-year-old gamer, me and my group of friends have gotten more into cooperative games. Have you guys, like you talked a lot about competitive games, have you looked at expanding into cooperative games? The second thing is, have you considered using that extra space you have, it's because you have all the infrastructure, rental for indie developers?
It's something, I'll touch on the rental part first. It's something we consider. The only problem would be is I'm not sure many indie developers in Tawnytown as far as like gaming stuff goes. But it would be something we'd be open to if we knew somebody in Tawnytown who was interested in that kind of development. Because we also we have the extra hardware and stuff like that. We do have some pretty top computers. That's kind of why we've looked into expansion, because we do have all the required hardware to start going into it. As far as cooperative games, would you be able to give me an example of a game that you're thinking?
I mean, yeah, so there's a bunch of cooperative board games. One's, wait, I can't get the name of it off the top of my head now. I'm thinking of yeah, I can give you, I can send you some, but my brother-in-law actually developed a cooperative game. Unknown, that's the name of it. There's a few, but there's quite a few.
I'm not familiar with the genre.
Oh, okay.
That'd be the only thing. Is again, I'm a MMORPG type guy. I'm more all computer gaming. He's more the TCG guy in this sector, and I think board games probably fall under your stuff.
Yeah, kind of.
It's something we'd look into. I mean, if you wanted to send us over some examples, we could.
I mean, you can look at D&D campaigns as a cooperative.
We do have a group that regularly comes down like every week for Dungeons and Dragons.
And we've been asked about it for a lot. We actually have a lot of material that we can provide for people to do that kind of stuff. The idea currently is that we haven't bought the locker yet, but it's supposed to be a locker. But basically have all that stuff in there for them to do those kind of cooperative games, D&D. There's one ring now or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the Lord of the Rings
Lord
style.
of the Rings. Tabletop RPGs.
The idea is we do have everything to facilitate that. We just have to get a locker to lock it up and kind of get the key and you're able to go do that. So I know it. So then, yeah, in that regards, cooperative is on our agenda. I'm not gonna lie, it's just when we get there.
Yeah.
It's been busy times.
Jimmy?
Yeah.
First of all, I'm pretty impressed. It sounds like you guys are doing some really amazing
stuff up in Tawnytown. I've got 2 questions as well. First is, why the name?
It was our guild name in video
Okay.
games. That's we had it in 2014 as our guild name, and we became a pretty big guild using the name, and it was just kind of a homage to where we came from,
Makes
honestly.
We're pretty widely recognized online.
Yeah,
Yeah, about the name.
cool. So then I'm just a little unclear. I get there's a projection for this year, 200 grand. That's, I assume, sales. That's separate from like grants or.
Yeah, that's what we made just in sales for 2022.
Okay.
I'm not sure what our projection for 2023
I thought
is.
that's it. Okay, but so we're looking at about 200 grand. That's pretty impressive. But like, what are we looking at as far as expenses go? Across? I mean,
Yeah, that's-
you got this big facility. You're basically paid, right? This is like a job for you, and then you have a real job that got to help subsidize this because you're kind of pouring some cash in. Can you just give us a snapshot on like what is it? What's the money look like if you can? Like, I guess
Yeah,
ultimately
no.
I'm wondering about the sustainability of the thing.
No,
And
totally.
It's fantastic that in 5 years you still just want to do this as basically a service to the community. I love that. Just wondering how that is actually going to happen. And are you just going to keep, like, what do you do all night? Like, what is your.
Well, currently I'm doing a Mayor of Tawnytown campaign, so that's
Wow,
that
okay.
that fills a lot of the day these days.
All right.
My wife, I'm not gonna lie, she makes the money in the house.
Fair enough. Yeah.
In all fairness to her, but I fell into a little bit of a semi-retirement in 2018-ish, and eventually my wife was like, "Oh, you've always talked about running a business, opening a business, so why don't you just do it?" And I told her that she had to realize it was going to take a lot of my time, and she pushed me forward in getting it done, and she's been really pushing me on the mayor campaign. So
Okay.
I've been.
She sounds a pretty amazing woman.
No, she does. She does a lot, and I have 5 kids as well.
Whoa.
So
Man,
and
your
my-
story gets more and more interesting.
And you have investors as well.
Yeah,
So and
that's
on your first slide, you said you have someone who's actually watching the money.
yeah. So Kyle Meyer, he's a middle school friend. He keeps me in check a little bit more because for me, I do when he can. I'm a big guy who likes to give back, and I have a soft heart, especially when it comes to just trying to help kids, trying to help people in general. So I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of reined me in a little bit on my donations and kind of giving back and stuff like that. But it is expensive to do what we do. Most of the expansion just comes from myself, Kyle Viemeyer, Christopher Dillon. We all kind of still put money back into it to expand on the retail. But I will say it's at the point where it has its own legs to where for the first 6 months, I was putting about $2,500 of my own money into it a month. Kyle was putting an extra $1,000, Dylan was putting an extra $1,000, and all that expanded our inventory to where the business finally had its own legs. We're not necessarily looking for anything back from it, so that wasn't really an issue. But now the business has its own legs to where it is self-sustainable at this point from what we can tell. But I'm not gonna lie, I have a couple months of Quicken books to get done.
Yeah.
But that I've been saving for the intern, to be fair, to kind of teach them how we do it there. So they'll have a better view, the intern will have a better view of how we look here soon, and hopefully it's looking okay.
What would you say your monthly expenses are with the rent and the payroll and electric?
You only take what, like,
Probably like 5 total. I think.
yeah, because we're still in the grant right now, the Project Restore grant. So our
Which is
rent technically only comes out to about $1,250 a month. On electricity, we rolled the $7,000 that we had in summer electric bills into kind of a payment plan with the electric that brings our payments for electric to about $1,000 a month until we get that fixed out. And then we don't have any major debt or anything. It was mainly kind of funded just through capital that the investors had. So we did have one loan, but I think it just got paid off this week. So
You're saying about $5,000 a month in expenses?
Is that
no, it would be probably about 8
Okay.
is what we come out to about.
That's still pretty impressive if you're
Yeah.
doing right here.
No, it really doesn't. The startup expenses were a lot. I think
Sure.
we put into about $150,000 to about $200,000 in total of just pure capital from the investors and everything like that. But again, none of us expect any of it back because this is a passion project for us. we're not business masterminds or anything like that. This is just for us to honestly do something for the community. And it's something we wanted when we were kids. So that's kind of what fuels and drives us. Was there anything else before?
No.
Yeah, sorry, again.
That's good. That's good.
I'm not
you
going-
should. That's like $8,000 a month in profit if you were. So that it's getting set back.
No,
to the organization.
that is the coolest part. Is essentially everything we get back, or everything we have extra, we just put right back into the business,
Right.
which has allowed. Like I would say, when we first started, all it was the computers in there. We hadn't even done retail inventory or anything like that. We hadn't done our lounge, which now has couches and 8K TV in it. We didn't have the VR yet. We didn't have the arcade machines. We didn't even have the vending machine yet. But we expanded all of that fairly quickly.
It was a big first year.
Yeah, it was a huge first year.
Awesome. Huh? Cool. All right, I've dominated.
Where is it located and how many square feet do you have?
We have 6,600 square feet of building space. The best way to put it is between Subway on Main Street of Tawnytown to the Legion. We're kind of tucked back in from the Main Street, and that was actually one of our biggest problems when we first started, was just the visibility. But we spent a lot of money on advertising. We did a lot of, raffles, community give-backs and stuff like that, and I think that's honestly where you see the best bang for your buck when it comes to advertising, just giving back to the community, holding events and stuff like that. And that is where we see a lot of people come in, They'll be like, we saw you giving packs out for Christmas. The first Christmas before we had even opened up, we gave out a bunch of Pokemon packs. You could just stop in and grab a Pokemon pack for your kids for Christmas. What else did we do? We did the Halloween where we gave out the Halloween Pokemon packs. We've done events at the library. We attended the wine festival. We try to get out as much as we can. And again, I think the community will give back if you give back. And that's kind of what people have seen. And a lot of our regulars, they bring in gifts and presents for us because they realize we don't take money from it all. So that is kind of cool. Like the Wonders dropped by a present, beer for this guy. So because he's the one who has to deal with the kids most of the time. So
Every day.
every day.
That's at one Broad Street.
One
Yeah.
Broad Street, okay.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Oh,
But
no
it's
worries.
one Broad Street, again, just behind the Subway,
By the Legion.
and then down to the Legion, yep. Near the skate park. Those are kind of all the landmarkers around there.
Yeah.
And during the summer, I will say, we had a lot of issues with just kind of destruction, and again, we'd have 30 to 40 kids in the building, so I'm not gonna lie, during the summer, we'd have the police down there maybe once a week, and that was an interesting time. But we overcame that by kind of instituting back the $5 just to play for the day. So the people who are really there to game and kind of get the benefits from the center are still able to afford it and come in there. And that was kind of the whole objective. And there's some kids that we identify that still can't afford that $5 a day. Their families aren't as well off and stuff like that. We do kind of just grant them access to the facility because we do know them a little bit better.
Yeah, we have one on Facebook from Kim. In terms of looking for a new space, are you looking just in Tawnytown, or would you consider other areas like Westminster?
Tawnytown is our home, I think, for the time being, so currently only considering Tawnytown. We'd like to expand eventually to other small towns, but I think Westminster might honestly be a little too big for the kind of small town atmosphere that we're trying to give, if that makes sense. But it's always something in consideration. It's something we have talked about, but right now we're currently happy with our home in Tawnytown. And we've grown to know the community quite a bit, especially the kids and their families. So I couldn't imagine moving away from them because a lot of them do depend on our facility for that kind of extracurricular after school and stuff like that. So.
Question with the indie development. Are you guys looking to teach kids how to do indie development? Or are you trying to fund current projects, or can you go more in depth about that?
We're looking to currently start our own project on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've started getting the assets together for it. We've actually acquired some of the software for minor kind of MMORPG development. It's kind of a big goal, but it's something we're looking at because we do have the hardware and we have the space. And the question is whether we have the time. But it's something we'll see. It is in the works and we're talking about it, but it'll just come down to whether we actually have the time to do that. Because what we currently do is actually fairly busy.
Yeah.
We actually have We have 15 computers down right now due to a software issue that we have to go fix at some point today. So it's always, technical issues every once in a while as well.
Have you thought about expanding your offering for adults in terms of like board game nights, like a food truck and board games and stuff like? Or would you be concerned that adding adults to the mix might scare off some of the kids?
No, it's
I've seen it happen.
we have thought about it. We've actually thought of bring your own beer kind of nights and stuff like that. So maybe some D&D campaigns. Board games are a good one because a lot of adults have asked about it, and we actually in the back section of the store where we have the tables and stuff like that, we have a pretty expansive collection of board games. Some expensive ones and some that haven't even been opened yet. But every once in a while, a family does come in and they'll start using the board games. But we do want to do eventually some more adult catered events and stuff like that. Adult leagues have been asked for the games as well. We have a big 4-night tournament coming up this Saturday where we have the first place prize is a $1,200 gaming computer, and all the kids have been riled up about this. They've been talking all week about it. But when we announced that, we had a lot of adults asking, "Hey, when are you guys going to start doing adult leagues and stuff like that?" Because we have been talking about it. It's just a little harder to set up because there isn't as much framework there. There's a lot of framework for the youth leagues. There's a lot of youth leagues out there for youth sports, but as far as adults, not much.
Most adults who are into the hobby already have their own custom-built computers at home.
Yeah, right. But the board game nights is a
Right. Because like Jackson has his own custom, league got. So, but I'm thinking about more like Sharon and I, as opposed to you know what I mean? Because there's that whole. And the other thing is, when you talk about money, the money is with.
No, it is.
My generation has the money. The kids don't have any money.
No, that is always the problem having a little bit more kid-based, especially a teenager-based organization where they're not necessarily young enough where the parents are always coming in with them to spend that money, but we're at that section where they probably don't have much money. So that is always the hard part, but they're also the ones who honestly kind of need it the most.
Yeah.
If you give people something to do, they're going to be a little less destructive. Everybody's always asking a lot, why are they going around destroying this or that? Part of it is because it's a small town and they're getting bored. When we were kids, we grew up in a small town and we were destructive as kids. to be honest.
When I wasn't staying home.
We were out field parties.
I came from a military family, so every 4 years we moved around. So they were from Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, and my dad was stationed up there for 4 years. So how we stayed connected was gaming. After 4 years, we moved down to Texas, and that's where I ended up enlisting into the military. And how we really just kind of bridged that gap was gaming. They'd come down in the summer and visit and stuff like that, but I don't know. Maybe we somehow managed to stay connected through middle school, through high school, and found ourselves here. But no, board game night's kind of on our agenda as well. It's just mainly a time thing. There's only two of us here, and my wife, she's busy, working an actual job, and when I'm gone with all the mayor stuff, when I'm gone with all the business stuff, she has 5 kids, so unfortunate. But I told her it was going to be a lot of work. I tried to warn her. I was like, I'm not going to be home very often if I'm doing all this, and
You tried to talk her out of helping you.
I told her it's going to be a lot of work. I'm not going to be home that often if I'm going around doing all this. She's like, "Oh, I'll be fine." But I don't think well, I guess we only had like 2 kids when we originally were starting the vision of it all. But
Now I'm having a hard time putting your time frame together.
no,
Are you 85 or something?
I feel 85. This year feels like it has been 10 years. It is. I'm exhausted.
Welcome to 2023.
I'm looking forward to hopefully when the mayor election stuff is done, that will hopefully quiet down a little bit. But
Can you talk a little bit about the workforce development thing that you got people from? What kind of people did you get, and how did you go about getting those that help?
So workforce development. I mean, you actually reached out to me first about it, and you actually brought it up on my radar. I didn't even know it existed. So Chris brought it up to me, and I was like, that actually sounds something that because I think, as far as I were there, having a hard time finding kids who actually wanted to go and do the program and actually go to the businesses and stuff like that. And we're kind of a unique business in that regards. So we had kids, when I first put up the posters, they're like, what, we could work here? And I was like, yeah, you can, but I mean, there is a list of criteria, you know, they could get into it if they had an IEP plan, stuff like that. Kind of disadvantaged youth that just need some more guidance in life. And it did help him. Victor was a perfect example. When Victor, he was our summer worker for the Carroll Workforce Development Program. And he, when I first met Victor, actually, him and a friend came in and stole a $500 Xbox. The first week we were open, came in and stole a $500 Xbox. So I'm not the type of guy, you know, to call the police and try to get a kid in trouble. So I reached out to some other youth I knew in town, found out his address, went and talked with his parents, and we got the Xbox back from them. You know, no problem or anything like that. He tried to deny that he took it at first, but we have a million video cameras in the store. But we talked it out, and I told them that they're, you know, you're banned from coming in the store. But they came back and they gave a pretty heartfelt apology. I felt that they were sincere, and we allowed them back. And Victor ended up becoming a pretty big advocate for us in the youth, that we're not there to make money off the kids, that we are there to kind of help them and guide them. And he came to work for us in the summer, and he did a fantastic job. So, I mean, he really put his heart into actually kind of making sure the facility was being maintained and stuff like that. And I mean, he knew how to get the computers booted and ready for the day. And
To this day, he still stops down and tries to help out when he can.
yeah, no, that's probably the coolest part is, you know, everybody talks about not being able to get volunteers and stuff, but it is because we're a little cooler of the volunteer opportunities. But they're always like, oh, can we help? What can we do to help? And it's kind of cool because the parents do it as well. The parents understand that this is all kind of for them, and a lot of them will volunteer to help us clean after a big event and stuff like that. And we tell them it's not needed. It's why we're here. But again, that's why he gets beer every once in a while. But like, I'm trying to think, the Carroll Workforce Development. Again, there's the program for the 6 months. Sorry, I'm not familiar. She knows way more than I do about it.
I'm with Carroll Workforce Development. So if you have questions, see me.
I was gonna say, I can go into pretty big detail. I just met with Eileen, who runs the program right now. So, I mean, I can go.
Yeah. I would just, you know, it's good. That's a neat part of what
No, it
he's
is.
done. And, you know, not necessarily that I need any help right now, but I might.
It's perfect for
so
small
where
businesses.
where small businesses can go, that they can get some temporary part-time help.
Well, we're the best kept secret in Carroll County when it comes to employment opportunities for the youth. That's near and dear to our hearts.
And part of that program, the interesting part of it was that there were more businesses than there were workers at one point.
That's still the case.
So the biggest part of it is, as adults, to let the youth know that that opportunity exists if they are underserved youth, if they're youth that have an IEP or need, you know, don't quite fit into the standard, we'll hire you for the summer scenario. That's where the workforce development comes in.
The moment we put the flyers in there, we had kids clamor to try to, you could work here. And I was like, you could, but you have to remember that there are other businesses that also need help. So I tried to explain that to them because, again, there were a lot of kids interested, but we can't hog all the Carroll County Workforce Development funds.
That's okay.
But they've been good. They've helped us manage a lot of the increased workflow, especially Layden does a lot of online orders, so them kind of being there to help us run some of the facilities, it's been a real help. So I am very appreciative of what you guys have done for us.
And we appreciate your appreciation.
Thank you.
I have a question,
Yeah.
or maybe a concern for the Carroll Workforce. I think that it's not fair to not allow all youth to be in the program. That's my kind of view.
Well, there's a certain criteria that has to be met, and we concentrate on the underserved youth, the kids that need a break, and because there's grants that we can provide for their salaries and so forth. And so it's not every youth that is out there that comes through our program. It's a government program, so there's certain government criteria that has to be met. And if you want to talk about that in further detail, I'll give you a card and we can, take time offline, so to speak, and I can fill you in.
There's more businesses and then there's less youth. I think there's a lot of youth that might not fit that criteria, that might still be interested. So there has to be a way to welcome all.
Well, we have the ability to provide job seekers if they're interested, if they're just a kid in high school that wants a job. They can come to us, and if there is an employer looking for, say, an entry-level position, that youth has the right to apply for that job, and the employer has the right to interview that person and so forth. He's talking about a particular program that we provided the service to him, and if you wanted to take a look at our other services, just in general, there's more employers looking for employees than just in general the workforce than there are unemployed people who want a job. It's like 2 to 1. For every one employee that's looking for a job, there are 2 jobs available. And there's plenty of jobs out there. There's just not enough people to fill them. For whatever reason, after 2020, the workforce decided to retire. I mean, it was pretty much.
Everybody wants the game.
And not a whole lot of people are coming back.
No, one thing I will touch on actually is that we used to be open 12 hours a day. But what we had during the school year was kids playing hooky to come game. So we changed our hours to where we were only open after school hours for the weekdays, because it was becoming a problem where kids were some of them were just not going to school, and they'd show up at our facility and be like, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be at school?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I got the day off."
Well, then they were telling me they got suspended.
Oh yeah, where they'd be suspended and come in. So,
Not exactly your customer base.
again, we try to kind of mention them as well.
Right.
Layton's worked with a lot of them, and I've worked with them myself too. And there's a lot of kids that do have a lot of not the best family life, and part of our facility is that escape as well.
A lot of them just don't want to go home.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but that is the
Sad
hard
situation.
truth of it.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, you guys aware of any counterparts across the U.S. or overseas, kind of similar scale, similar size, small town?
So I will say that nobody necessarily kind of does what we do. We combine a lot of different elements into our business, but the other kind of esports centers, I mean, there's some down in Virginia, and I know their price is $5 an hour. So for the kids in Tawnytown, just about none of them would be able to afford such a thing. So affordability has always been kind of our key, and I think that's the main difference between us and them. But again, ours is a passion project. It's not we're not looking to take home a lot of money from it. It's something that we wanted to offer to the community. Again, that's probably why we should have been a nonprofit to start. But
We used to be one in Howard County too, and I don't know if it still exists, but I used to go there about 10, 15 years ago when I was visiting Howard County. But again, to his point, I think they were $10 or $15 an hour as far as what they charge.
yeah, there used to be one in Westminster, actually at the mall, Battlegrounds, and they were $11 an hour if I remember correctly.
Tables and towers, are they still a thing there?
They are.
I believe they're under new ownership.
Yeah, they're under
They
new
are.
ownership.
And then there's Dexter Carter has the Baltimore Esports that he started. Do you have any collaborations with him?
We don't have any collaborations. I've talked with them before, though, as far as I'm aware. I think I'm familiar with who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's the game for good.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Yeah, and from what I see, there may be good support from him and what he's doing and what you're trying to do. He's big city, and you're a small town.
Yeah.
So there might be some good synergy there.
Yeah, I'll say normally you want to see a facility like ours in a small town.
Right.
probably the smallest you'd be looking at is a town with like 100,000 people normally, just to kind of facilitate the amount of money you need to pay for a facility like that. But that is also why we've incorporated so many different aspects into our facility, from the trading cards and everything like that. Again, I'm not familiar with this esports center that also does trading cards and
is there,
the
like
recreation.
with regular sports, is there the potential for, I know it's still building, a farming system, so to speak? Like, if Dexter and his Baltimore thing gets really big, and you guys, you want to keep it small because you're building community, would that
Like
be
a
like a
feeder
farming
system?
system for his bigger thing? I don't know. I'm not sure how esports works in relation to smaller sports, but
It's hard to say. I'll have to reach out to him to
plant that
talk to
thought.
him.
Yeah. And there's a couple of other connections on that. But are there any other questions?
Just kind of extension from that. Like, who are the kids playing? I don't really kind of know the answer. People from all over? Is it really just in the region? Is it all over the country, all over the world?
So right now it's all over the United States. The league that they played in had teams from Oklahoma, California, Texas, a couple of different places essentially across the United States that are esports centers like us that are just trying to get kids into the league. And I know we were the only one in that league to offer the leagues for free. But again, that is just part of our mission. I don't blame other people for charging that, because again, you do have to keep your facilities open. But thankfully, we have our retail section that does extremely well. That kind of props up our other stuff. So.
Final question?
I have a question. So what can we as a community do to support you?
Just spreading the word that we exist is the biggest thing. We still have people come into the state saying, we didn't even know you guys existed.
Dude, people right in town say that to me every day. You're like, we didn't even know you guys were here.
Yeah, they'll actually be like, I live like 3 houses up the road. I didn't even know you guys existed. We do have a big sign that says Laughing Coffin on the building. I will say, you come into the building, it's gonna look like a warehouse. It's gonna look a little sketch. When you get inside, it looks a lot nicer.
Magic's inside.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Our outer aesthetics are lacking.
To be fair, it is hard to find the space needed in a small town like town. I mean, it's not even just tiny town. Any small town, you're going to have a hard time finding that kind of space. And some of it also has to do with the electrical needs that we have for our business in particular. The last thing we want to do is start another fire on Main Street. Has been prevalent these days.
Yeah.
So.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your presentation.
We have about 5 minutes for updates. If anybody has anything fun.
Does anyone have an update that they want to share?
I'll do a quick biz challenge. I don't need to get up there.
Okay.
Biz challenge kicks off February 7th. This is the entrepreneurs startup competition where there's 10 grand. It will be 10,000 this year. Well, not. I don't think it'll be 11 or 12, but it'll be 10 grand cash and thousands more in other valuable prizes for any Carroll-based business that's has started in the last year, will start in the next year, planning to start next year. So it kicks off officially February 7th at Carroll Community College, room K100. So you can just show up. There's going to be free food and drinks, and we'll just kind of give the overview. And the application period opens right after that. And you have until May 31st to apply, and then we'll pick 5 finalists out of everybody that applied to pitch their idea live at the Carroll Arts Center on August the 3rd.
And is the criteria listed on the website?
There is. We're tweaking the criteria just a little bit. That's why the website's not quite ready.
Okay.
All I want you to do now is plan to come, whoever you are, come to the kickoff on February 7th, and the rest will take care of itself.
Okay.
Now, is that for just for new businesses or for existing businesses doing an expansion?
New businesses, and there are sometimes existing businesses try to finagle their way into it, and sometimes they do. I mean, basically, but like Mike, the president of the chamber, always says, when in doubt, fill it out. Apply, fill out the application. It is technically for new businesses, but if you can prove that you're starting a new thing somehow, give it a shot.
Any other updates?
Are we?
We okay.
3 minutes. There's not much waiting left.
No, we need
Okay. Oh, there we go. That'd be great. Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and close it out. Thank you, everybody, for attending. A wonderful full house here, practically. Thank you for everyone who's online. We are 1 Million Cups Westminster, an entrepreneurial community here to support each other. Thank you to our presenters, Beth and Coffin. Congratulations on your growth, and we're happy to do some mingling afterwards to help plug you into some resources I think might help as well. Thank you to Jeannie Bird for the sweet treats and to American Ice Cafe for the go-go juice. If you are an entrepreneur or a business owner who is trying to take your business to the next level and you are honestly not sure what that next level step is to take for you, then come plug in here. We're at 1millioncups.com/Westminster. You can click Apply to Present and plug into our entrepreneurial community so we can help our Westminster businesses grow. We're here for you. So we will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.